Oi pessoal, aqui é a Dani. Hoje eu vou conversar com James Morelli. James, ele é biólogo, fez bioquímica no mestrado e trabalhou na Astrazeneca por 14 anos e agora está na Sanofi há 4. A área dele de atuação foi basicamente toxicologia, então vamos conversar com ele, temos algumas perguntas. James.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Tell us a little bit about you, about your career. How did you start? How did you get into the company? And just a little bit fun.
Sure. I did very well in biology in high school, and so when I went to the University of Maine, I chose biology as my major. So I got my bachelor's degree at the University of Maine, and originally thought I would work for the Environmental Protection Agency because I was interested in protection of animals and protection of waterways, etc.
Most of the biologists, right?
Yeah, right. And so, but I also did some lab work in my senior year at the University of Maine and found a lab job not long after I graduated. So after that, I started working at a laboratory in Denver, Colorado called National Jewish Center for Immunology and Respiratory Medicine, which looked at things, they particularly were interested in tuberculosis. And I didn't work there for long, but it introduced me to the field of lab work, and I found it very interesting, and so that began my career.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And how did you get to Astrazeneca?
I returned to the University of Maine to get my master's degree, and I was working there in a plant molecular biology lab, actually.
With potatoes,
With
right?
potatoes. I worked on potatoes, yes, for a number of years, which was interesting, but I also got my master's degree at the same time. I had a coworker who got a job at Astrazeneca Pharmaceuticals in Delaware, and there were openings in her lab. I had received my master's, and funding in research grants sometimes is an uncertain future. You never know from year to year if you're going to be reemployed. So this was a steady position at a pharmaceutical lab. I went down and interviewed, I was offered the job, and took the job at AstraZeneca, and actually ended up staying there for almost 14 years. I worked at AstraZeneca. The first 3 years I worked as a target discovery, so looking at molecular targets for cancer or for other diseases, and then deciding if that was something that the company wanted to pursue for a drug project. But then was picked up by the toxicology group and worked in toxicology for the next 10 to 11 years.
That's great.
Yeah.
And then after toxicology, you moved to Sanofi and works with toxicology, right? Tell us a little bit, what do you do here? What's your job, your roles, and
Sure.
how you made this transition, maybe?
Yeah, the transition was because of what happens typically with pharmaceutical companies, which is that they can shut down certain departments, and they decided to close the site that I was working on in Wilmington, Delaware. So they closed the entire research facility and moved it to Boston. And there weren't enough positions for myself to be included, so I started looking for other jobs in the area and found this position at Sanofi, which was not far away from Delaware, in New Jersey. Soon after I arrived there, they said, "We're moving to Boston."
Oh gosh.
So it was crazy. So soon after, I was once again asked to go to Boston, and I said, okay. And of course, Framingham is right near Boston, so that's where we are now. And so continuing in toxicology, for many years, really, mostly what I did was laboratory work. But recently, I began to do project team work, which includes working on, currently I'm working on the cystic fibrosis project. And what we do for them is we run a number of assays as they develop compounds which seem to have some efficacy in treating the cystic fibrosis defect. It's a genetic disease. We look and see if those compounds have toxicity associated. And we have a whole battery of different assays that we can run to make sure that the compounds are going to be safe as well as effective. And there are several that are a definite stop. If you get a positive, for example, in genetic toxicity, a carcinogenic compound, It's obviously that compound goes no further, but we try to de-risk the series so that we can find them compounds which are definitely effective and definitely seem to have a good safety profile.
Mm-hmm. That's great. So it's different from what you've been doing in Astrazeneca, especially in the beginning, that you looked at target evaluation, right?
Yes.
And what do you think are like the major challenges or the things that you most enjoy in this job, or in between those two jobs?
Yeah, I would have to say that I really do enjoy working on this project team because you get to see more of how a drug is developed. So you get to see all of the different components coming in. When I was just doing toxicology, just running in vitro assays on cell cultures and things, I would get some information about the safety of the drugs, but now I attend project team meetings where I'm learning about all of the other tests that need to be done to drive a drug forward, sort of the timelines that need to be followed, and so I find that interesting. Aside from that, though, even when I was working just in vitro assays, when you develop a new assay that's solving a problem that needed to be solved and it turns out successfully, of course that's always enjoyable. You feel like you've accomplished something when you develop an assay that helps to forward projects. Yeah.
And you told me once that you have some meetings with the patients which give you more, you get more excited about. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure, absolutely. I can tell you two different examples. One is from Astrazeneca, where we had a focus on neurological drugs such as schizophrenia and also bipolar disorder. And we had several speakers come in and talk to us about bipolar disorder. And you can really, manic depression. And they would tell us stories of getting extremely manic, and one woman talked about running down the street completely naked, screaming at the top of her lungs, having a manic episode, and was eventually stopped by the police, and then she would fall into a deep depression, and it was very disruptive to her life. And we have a drug called Seroquel, which was effective for treating both schizophrenic and bipolar disorder, and she came in and told us how it had changed her life. And when you hear that, it gives more meaning to your job.
Especially if you're in the lab, right, all the time.
Exactly, yes, because you're removed from that a lot of times. Mm-hmm. So it really is helpful to have patients come in and tell you the stories, helps you to recommit and realize that there is ultimately a meaning to your job that's so helpful to the community, despite the fact that your day-to-day job may involve a very small piece of that. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
And the hardest part of the job, the one that you, if you could skip it, you would.
Well, I think that the hardest part for me, I think this is probably true for many people, is any of the things that are kind of mundane. For me, keeping up a lab notebook is a little mundane. It's just boring, the boring things.
Especially in the industry, right? Because
Yeah.
you have to accomplish some formats or be more detailed, maybe?
Yes, yeah. The format of your data has to be in a particular way, so you have to spend time correctly formatting things. For the databases, such as we have what's called the Domusys database, that ultimately is submitted to the FDA. So the FDA documents have to be produced in a particular way. But things like that, just small things that are not very exciting, but that you have to do to maintain the job on a daily basis. And so the fun things are going into the lab and running some experiments.
Seeing the cells.
And all of that.
He has great images. He works with the high content.
Fluorescence imaging. Yeah, high content analysis. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And if you would give to people any tip in this career or any counsels there, what would you say?
Well, you've heard us talk in the U.S. at least, there can be a bit of a problem for PhD level students, and that's simply because there are not enough positions for PhD level. in a way, there's less room at the top. So I have a master's degree. It actually makes me more employable because there are more positions at my level. I still think it depends on what you want to do, of course. You have to think about what you want to do, and I don't know what the situation is in Brazil or other countries. But in the US, it's almost too many PhDs in biology can be difficult to get a job. So that's one tip.
That's a great tip.
I think that this is a job, scientific jobs come with some frustration in that your experiments don't always work the first time, so you just have to have some tenacity, be able to accept bad results and try again. On the positive side, we get to travel to meetings, and that can be a lot of fun. You can travel all over the country. If you're really lucky, you can travel outside the country. So it's a good job. I definitely enjoy the job. The science is interesting. The ability to go to meetings and have some fun, hopefully with coworkers, is very enjoyable, like Danny. And so those are the things I like about the job. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you, James, for your time. I really appreciate. I hope everybody will love it. I promise you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye-bye, people. Ciao, ciao.
Bye. Ciao.